So guys, welcome back to the second part of our tips and techniques for content producers. Thank you so much for tuning in on this last episode. And for this part, we're gonna be finishing up with something that I think is very important to discuss: competition, and who do you learn from, or how can you make yourself go further and evolve even faster and do different things. So competition is good in multiple ways. First of all, it allows you to be dynamic. It sort of, well, not allows you, but it almost forces you to be dynamic and evolve into certain things, do things differently, and you have to make those connections. You have to look up to certain people whose content you appreciate and you like, and you have to sort of try and create something that is something that you like out of their style and make it your own style. So there are a couple of YouTubers that I follow. Philip Bloom, Chase Jarvis, and Dave Dugdale are my three camera guys that develop fantastic content. It's both educational, technical, and creative all at the same time, and it helps me to see what they're doing and how they're capturing things and translate that into our technology reviews and our coverage. And that's why when we're doing certain things that is simple as a case review, you see all types of crazy angles and crazy shots and lighting setups that look fantastic on video, but are really basic in terms of just knowing where to position the lighting stuff. And throughout this series, we did lighting setups, so make sure to check it out. We did filming tips and techniques, so make sure to check that out as well. And all that really encompasses into your own style, and looking up to seeing what you like from other people and borrowing some of that and making it your own. I don't mean to say plagiarize their style. I don't mean to say plagiarize the exact same shots, but take that into account when you make your content, because that is how you are going to try to evolve and try to be unique, and try to be unique with each single video. Not the entire video, but try to do at least one thing differently and new with each single production.
Now, I agree competition is good. As a matter of fact, back when I worked at Microsoft, I used to use the slogan, competition breeds excellence. And I would say that all the time in meetings, mainly just because it sounded bitchin'. But the reason why I really said it is when you're competing with somebody, and competition doesn't mean that you're trying to undermine somebody or you're trying to hurt them. Get that out of your head. Success by hurting another person is just stupid. That's the wrong way to do it. There's a couple YouTube channels that I'm not going to mention that basically thrive on the destruction of other channels and other people. And that's not the way to grow. That's not a legacy. That's not something that's sustainable. And ultimately, in the end, it's just going to get you into a lot of trouble. So the way that I look at competition is when I look up to somebody who's a larger channel than me, or somebody who's doing content that I want to do, and I feel like I can do something different in that territory, and I can really, really create that same kind of draw that they've produced by being unique and doing it my own way.
Now, from the tech world, something that is more relatable to what Canucks does is obviously we have this amazing community of YouTubers that share this audience, this amazing audience. And I say share because competition in itself is awesome, but you also have to remember that we are all part of the community. So we all kind of feed off each other, and we all seeing what's working with different YouTube channels. And what I would do sometimes is go into certain channel that I have seen to thrive recently, like Awesome Sauce Network. Kyle has amazing comedy, and seeing what he's doing right. And actually that's helping me to seeing what people are, what is popular and what is getting the most engagement. And part of that is obviously his character. He is putting out his personality to the table, but also he's releasing content, and that is actually a very good tip for everybody, is to release content that people want to watch. In doing so, make sure not to forget and not to derail from your initial objective, is to portray your character and to do things that you want to showcase. I also look up to TLD because his content is so crispy. Man, you could cut glass with that crispy footage. Taking some of those techniques, looking at the footage and looking at how he's able to achieve something that is so beautiful, and try to recreate your own. And you can notice little things if you look at the footage. For example, try to do this next time. If you are a content producer and you like what you see, pause the video, try to count the light sources and try to seeing how the lighting is positioned, seeing what the camera is in relation to the subject, and try to visualize how that scene was the composition is like and how that scene was first put together in order to create something that, or not create, but in order to realize how those things were shot and trying to recreate that sort of similar composition later on for your own video. Another tech YouTubers that I follow for the technology side of things is obviously Linus. Is entertaining and educational as well. There's a lot of things you can learn from people, even though if it's not completely relatable, but our content sort of overlaps quite a bit when it comes to hardware. And there's obviously Jerry. Thank you so much for coming on to this episode, but his content is so personal, and so it actually has helped me to develop to just sit in front of the camera and talk to you about my techniques, about my style. And throughout these episodes, I think that I have grown to how to control myself in front of the camera, what to say and how not to just completely blank out. And that all comes with practice. And as you watch these other YouTubers, you can take little things here and there and try to make sure that you can do a better job for the future, obviously regardless of the content. So for all of you guys, leave your thoughts in the comments below of who you follow in terms of trying to learn from them, who is your sort of role model in terms of all the aspects, creative aspects, personal aspects, informational aspects, and all those things, because that's the beauty of the video community, is that we have so much variety, so you can really take anything from anybody and make it your own.
So there's quite a few people that I look up to in the YouTube community. Too many to list right here, because I'm sure my long-winded responses have already blown Dimitri's video way out of proportion. I'm sorry about that, bro, but you know me, I talk a lot. So the top guys I would say influenced me would be at #1 spot, and this is gonna totally just give him a big ego boost in the head, would be Jay's 2 cents. Now, Jay's 2 cents is a technology channel where he reviews mainly computer components, does computer builds, and his expertise is in water or liquid cooling, right? And I found his channel early on when his channel was actually larger than mine. He had more views, he had more subscribers, and I really loved his quality of video. And once I finally contacted him, I came to learn that he was achieving that quality of video on a very cheap DSLR camera, nothing special for audio. All of his lighting was like Home Depot cans with CFLs in it and paper draped over it, and it looked absolutely stunning. And the first thing I learned from him was that the quality of your video isn't always determined by your equipment. I was shooting on a Canon 5D Mark III, which is a $3,500 body, another $1,000 in lens, H4n audio interface, shotgun mic, and I was not producing the same quality that he was. And he was the one that taught me that setting up lighting and doing stuff correctly, and I still haven't picked up on some of his stuff like smooth B-roll. People love smooth B-roll. I don't know what it is, and I still handhold it, and I'm all over the place like I just drank a couple Starbucks before I do it. But I've learned a lot from him in that respect, that you don't need a lot of money to actually produce good quality video. But the goal is you do want to produce good quality video. You want to be well lit. You want to have good audio. Right now I'm wearing a lavalier mic so that you can hear me really well when I'm all animated, moving my head around. With the shotgun mic, that just didn't work very well because I was always facing in different directions. But it's making all these small little changes and learning how to master the tools that you have that really up your game. And now I'm a larger channel than Jay. I mean, I think I'm like 100,000 subscribers ahead of him or something like that, you know, because clearly I've got the better channel. Actually, he'd probably argue that it's just because I got into 3D printing when that was the huge craze and nobody else was doing it. And I'll probably agree with him. That's probably the biggest draw to my channel even today, is the 3D printing or things that are combined to it. And it's kind of like the starting point for a lot of new people coming into my channel. So I'll totally agree with that. Now, the second person might surprise you guys, and he's actually helped me a lot, and that's Linus Sebastian from Linus Tech Tips. He's actually a really cool guy. I see a lot of comments about him where people get mad because he makes such short videos now, and he does a lot of things that people don't necessarily agree with. But the thing that you have to realize from my perspective is I've watched Linus grow a lot. I mean, more than double his size since probably more like tripled his size since I started watching him. And he's actually talked to me on many occasions offline where you guys haven't seen it, gave me pointers on how to do things for my channel. And at one point he may have even alluded to me coming and working for them. but I'm not a Canadian, so that didn't work out. But anyways, he has actually been a great mentor. He's given me a lot of really good advice. And even despite all the hate that comes in from the community and people that really try to tackle him back to a simpler version of himself, he still just keeps on storming forward. Now, his format isn't necessarily for me. You know, a lot of what he does is very professional, very scripted, very well set up. He has employees, he has editors, he has a building, he has those things. He runs his YouTube as a business, and I have huge respect for that, and he is highly successful at it. Now, my goals with YouTube are completely different, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't a huge influence on me and gave me a big confidence boost that I needed. Now, the last person I'm gonna mention here is gonna be Logan from Tech Syndicate. And the reason why Logan's on there, and it's kind of funny because Tech Syndicate is such a different channel than like Linus Tech Tips and Jay's 2 cents. I mean, they're all over the place, right? I'm picking these from weird spectrums. But the reason why I picked Logan is because Tech Syndicate itself is awesome in that they don't care about anything. When you look at them, it's not about the money, it's not about the business, it's not about really anything. They just want to do what they want to do, enjoy what they want to enjoy, say what they want to say, and they really don't give a shit about what anybody else thinks. And I have huge respect for that, because they could sell out at any time and just grow, push the business, grow it, hire more people, do more things, but they don't. They stay true to their original mission statement, and they just keep on plugging forward. And plus, it's an awesome group of guys, not just Logan. I mean, you got Deus Kane, you got Wendell, so many guys that are just super intelligent and bring something unique to the table. And I really like that, and I love talking to Logan every chance I get, because you talk to the guy for like 10 minutes, and you get the vibe that he's the same guy for the most part that you see on camera, and he's all about just doing what he's excited about. He's not about doing what brings in the most money. He's doing about what he's excited about, and he's actually really good at it. Between those three, they're probably about 50% of my overall influence, and then there's probably 100 other channels that are responsible for the rest. I mean, like Tested and the Ben Heck Show and stuff like that. I mean, there are a ton of channels out there that have contributed to the influence that makes what you see here, the Barnacules Nerdgasm. But honestly, guys, without any kind of competition, we wouldn't really have any reason to keep getting better. I mean, after a while, besting yourself isn't that interesting. It's always fun to actually have other people that you're in competition with. Like even Jay's 2 cents and I mean, we compete on a fun level where we'll share statistics and rub each other back and forth whenever we have a success and stuff like that, and it keeps things really interesting. Again, it doesn't come from a hateful place. It's designed to motivate both parties. Please don't ever go and try to make a channel and try to become famous by doing gossip, putting other people down, being destructive, trying to become famous by trying to negatively associate yourself with larger people to force them to engage you. I see this happen all the time, and it seriously just makes me want to cry that there's people out there that they're so focused on being famous and they want to be a somebody to the world that they're willing to compromise their entire morality to do it and damage a lot of people in the process. So don't be one of those guys. Now, if you guys are wondering, this entire video was shot on a Sony FDR AX33 camcorder that costs about $1,000, 4K capable. I have it hooked up to a Sennheiser microphone setup that's actually a pretty expensive setup, but right now I'm shooting at a manual f1.8 aperture. It's tracking my face and doing autofocus. So much easier than using a DSLR. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because if you're getting into YouTube, don't think that you have to go get a super high-end camera. You don't need a Red Cinema, you don't need Blackmagic, you don't need a Canon 5D Mark III with a full frame sensor and a $2,000 lens. You just don't. Do your research. It's YouTube. That we're not producing video for the IMAX theater here. So definitely don't spend a massive amount of money on equipment first and then hope to be successful. Use what you have. Use your cell phone if it's got a good camera. Use a wired lav mic that costs 20 bucks. Use the minimal amount of hardware that you can to find yourself, figure out if you like it, and find that audience that you're looking for. Once you do that, then start the improvements in building. I've seen a lot of YouTubers actually go at it the wrong way, and they go out and buy really expensive camera, mics, big studio lights, and everything like that. And then they find out that they're just not comfortable in front of the camera, or they get frustrated when they don't draw an audience really quickly. because like me, it's taken me 6 years to get to where I'm at, guys. It's not like overnight I just became huge. I mean, most of my growth has happened over the last 2 years. But it's not like you're just gonna create a YouTube channel and become famous. I mean, unless you pour gasoline on yourself and run around naked on fire in an intersection somewhere and somehow survive, then you'll probably be viral, and then you'll be famous for that one video. Which brings me to another really quick point, and that is, don't try to become viral. The thing is, well, actually, let me rephrase that. You do want viral videos if you can achieve them, but don't make that your goal to create a viral video, because what happens, you'll create a viral video, you'll bring in a ton of subscribers, you'll bring in a ton of views on that video, and then nobody else will watch any of your other stuff if it's not as good or as compelling as that video, and it'll become very, very frustrating to you. I prefer to go the route of slow and steady wins the race, have that nice, steady, positive growth, and have each video meet the expectations of the majority of your audience. And it will, as long as that audience was brought to you by you being yourself, because it's hard to not be yourself.
And being yourself, as I said before, and as Jerry has explained, is crucial in order to develop your own relationship with the camera, your own relationship with the audience. So make sure to follow that advice to heart.
Hey Dimitri, thanks again for inviting me to be in this video. The last thing I want to say is, guys, just like I'm doing right here with Dimitri, collaborations are also very important. I didn't talk about those very early on, but try to collaborate with other people that are similar to you, that have like-minded goals. Now, I'm not saying go hit up PewDiePie and try to get a collaboration. Be realistic. Try to find channels that are in your same size and in your same genre, but don't be afraid to reach out and try to collaborate with people where it makes sense, because collaborations help both people involved if done properly, and honestly, it can give you a huge boost in subscribership. Now, don't confuse collaboration with shout out. You don't want shout outs. Everybody asks for those in my video. If I say, hey, yeah, go follow at Shane blah 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 on Twitter, 5 people will go follow you, 3 of them will troll you, and then 4 of them will leave. It's just how it works. A shout out doesn't give any kind of tangible proof that you're worth watching or you're worth following. What you want to do is find people that will actually collaborate with you, people that'll showcase your abilities, people that will merge their abilities and your abilities together towards a common goal. Those are the kind of collaborations that you're looking for. And if somebody doesn't want to collaborate, don't get mad about it. Move on, because a collaboration needs to be something that both people are mutually and equally excited about. If one person's super excited and the other guy's like, meh, trust me, it's going to show in the video. All right, take it easy, Dimitri.
So thank you so much to Jerry AKA Barnacules Nerdgasm for joining on this episode, part 2. Make sure to check out part 1 in the description. And as always, guys, this is all about providing that insight for all the content creators that might benefit from all this information. And if you have any suggestions on who we should bring in next for the next future behind the scenes series, let us know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more similar content. Remember, behind the scenes and how-to videos every Friday. Make sure to subscribe and follow. I'm Dimitri with Canucks. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.